Pokemon other than Hariyama, but Hariyama's a little better outfitted to take those hurricanes than Buzzwole was.
All right, but instead we have the Hydro Vortex come out. Preston going to go hyper offensive right off the bat here. Going to try to take out this Mandibuzz with this Hydro Vortex in the rain, preventing any sort of Tailwind setup here. Golduck, oh no, going for the Tapu Fini here.
No, we saw a player attempt this yesterday also. Jarek went for this.
Oh my, that did a lot of damage.
It did much less than that one. A critical hit, doing massive damage, and then, I guess, mirroring the Tailwinds.
Yeah, and Tapu Fini gets to go for a Moonblast here. Going to hit that Golduck. Tapu Fini, not exactly a heavy hitter, but it does drop the special attack stat as Mandibuzz goes for a Snarl, going to reduce the damage of the Hurricanes, Brines, Hydro Pumps, Surfs, Scalds, whatever this Golduck really wants to throw away, and at the same time breaking that Focus Sash on Pelipper that it is carrying.
Yeah, very useful Snarl there with two special attackers. Golduck manages to get its Hydro Vortex off before getting Snarled, so it gets it off at full power. Does it into Tapu Fini for what would be otherwise been less than 50% because of the critical hit. It's pretty good damage, but kind of expected after seeing that to have Pelipper maybe Hurricane and try to get the KO on Tapu Fini. Instead, it Tailwinds, probably trying to match the Mandibuzz Tailwind. Since there isn't a Mandibuzz Tailwind, even though Preston's Pokemon were already the two fastest on the field, now they're really the two fastest Pokemon on the field.
No Tailwind coming up from the Mandibuzz, even though Mandibuzz could have used Tailwind to kind of help Ragav's team, you know, just keep up, right? Tapu Lele going to switch in, going to change the terrain from the Misty terrain into the Psychic terrain. All right, okay. Pelipper goes for a Wide Guard, though. All right, that's a cool move. Going to prevent Snarl from hitting and lowering the damage output as Tapu Fini continues to go for a Moonblast here. Going to hit this Pelipper. Pelipper can hang on, barely hangs on, as Mandibuzz finally uses his turn to match the Tailwind. So in actuality, Ragav actually gets one extra turn of Tailwind out of this.
Yeah, Ragav gets one extra turn of Tailwind, but he's not going to get much out of matching the Tailwind. He was slower before, and he's still slower. So it's kind of 2 turns of wasted Tailwind, and then only 1 of useful Tailwind. If he goes to something in his back that actually is quick, like his Kartana or his Garchomp, it could be good that he matched the Tailwind. But until that's the case, these are just wasted turns. But if he felt like there wasn't much for Mandibuzz to do that turn, we saw that it couldn't have Snarled. I'm not sure if he predicted that, but it wouldn't have worked. And so if there wasn't anything else to really do, going ahead and getting the Tailwind now, even if you're not going to use every turn of it, is pretty useful. Tapu Lele gets in unscathed and is immediately a big threat to either of these Pokemon. Would KO the Tapu Fini with a Psychic and do significant damage to Mandibuzz with Moonblast. I wouldn't be surprised if Pelipper leaves the field now to get Rain back later in the game. Since Golduck has already left the field, you're going to want to use Golduck late in the game, so you're going to need Pelipper to do that, especially since Pelipper has been Snarled already.
Yep, Tapu Fini now protecting itself. Not going to want to get KO'd just yet. That Wide Guard last turn, kind of a waste. Pelipper could have gone on the offensive and gotten some more KOs. Moonblast from that Tapu Lele connects onto that Mandibuzz, doing a lot of damage as Pelipper tries to pick up the KO on Tapu Fini with a Hurricane. But here it is, the turn that Snarl happens. Pelipper gets KO'd and Tapu Lele gets a special attack stat. Drop by 1 stage, going to reduce that damage output. That would have been the turn to Wide Guard.
Yeah, that was a very valuable Snarl. Getting Pelipper knocked out so that you may only have to deal with that Golduck without Swift Swim late in the game, and getting the special attack drop onto Tapu Lele. Probably meaning it can't Psychic for the KO against Tapu Fini anymore. Easily can still Moonblast for the KO, but not the Psychic. Kartana can handle Tapu Fini, though.
Oh, yeah. So right here, it looks like options for Preston to be able to easily pick up 2 KOs and even a Beast Boost on the way.
Yeah, but because of that, I would expect Tapu Fini to leave something to come in that's a little better equipped to deal with the Kartana. You don't want to give up this 50% health Tapu Fini and give up a Beast Boost so easily. If Arcanine switches into that slot, it's going to look a lot better, especially since Pelipper is already knocked out and we only have a couple turns of Rain left. Arcanine's more valuable than it otherwise be, but he may not have brought it since it is against Rain.
And Golduck going to switch in here. Going to get one or two more turns of Rain. Not much to kind of really enjoy the Rain. Kartana coming in, that will definitely take the Leaf Blade a lot better than that Tapu Fini. As Mandibuzz switching out, going to sacrifice that Seed, but of course you want better positioning as Arcanine comes in. Going to go for an Intimidate here onto the Kartana on Preston's side. And, you know, that Moonblast did a lot of damage to that Mandibuzz. I'm trying to think back. Choice Specs. Choice Specs Tapu Lele is actually making a comeback. The Smart Strike connects onto Arcanine, not very effective damage, so great switch right there from Ragav to get his Pokemon out
Yeah, and great double switch.
Safe, yeah.
Because it seemed like the Kartana likely was going to go for Tapu Fini. Only switching that slot to protect it would have been maybe convenient. Instead switches both, and so Kartana really can't do anything here. But Preston did make the switch to his own Golduck, and so Arcanine is not very safe on the field. It'd be interesting to go for something like the Leaf Blade and Water move into Arcanine.
All right, but instead, Golduck protects here. Not going to want to go on the offensive just yet, as the Kartana on Preston's side also protects as well. So, yeah, just probably trying to stall out this Tailwind here as a Bloom Doom comes out, hitting that Golduck. That Golduck's already been hit with an attack, so this could still be the KO.
Yeah, I would expect it is the KO, and that's kind of the risk with double protecting now in the age of Z moves and their ability to do damage right through protect.
It's a very cool mechanic. It adds another layer of strategy, in my opinion, where you can get chip damage if you need it.
Right, and keeps Z moves from being wasted too often.
Yeah. So Golduck does get KO'd by that Bloom Doom. Kartana gets a Beast Boost here. Going to go ahead and get the attack boost, and now this Kartana on Regal's side is ready to go as the Arcanine goes for a Flare Blitz into that Protect as the rain stops, and the Tailwind peters out.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that Golduck protected there. It was matching the Tailwind already because of Swift Swim.
Yeah.
And it was still slower than Kartana, but even once Tailwind expired, Swift Swim was going to expire, and it was still going to be slower than Kartana. And I don't know if he knew that Raghav has Bloom Doom, but it allowed the KO without even a chance to attack.
Arcanine switching out, probably going to try to take this Psychic here, because Mandibuzz comes in. Kartana on Raghav's side, now not wanting to get KO'd, not wanting to sacrifice that Beast Boost just yet. Preston's Kartana goes for the Sacred Sword, and yep, alright, so Tapu Lele looks like it's going to lock itself as the terrain disappears too.
Yeah, lock itself into a Psychic that does no damage to Mandibuzz, and still significant damage though resisted to Kartana, but is very vulnerable to Smart Strike now. If it is Choice Specs, then it can't be Choice Scarf, and so it's slower than this Kartana, and should just go down to the Smart Strike this turn since there's no switch opportunity for Preston.
Yep, and it's going to continue to rotate those Intimidates in, continue to weaken the Kartana on Preston's side here, just to play it safe. You know, don't want to get too ahead of itself as the Leaf Blade connects on Tapu Lele. That is a massive amount of damage thanks to that Beast Boost, and it picks up the one-hit KO. Kartana gets another Beast Boost here, so the Sacred Sword from Regal's side should start being able to pretty much pick up KOs on that Kartana on the other side.
Yeah, and there is no Smart Strike on Regal's side. We've seen the full moveset.
Sacred Sword, I mean.
With Detect, Sacred Sword, Leaf Blade, and Substitute. And so that's why he's had to Leaf Blade the Tapu Lele there, but because of the Beast Boost, it's a KO just as well as Smart Strike would have been.
Yeah, and Tapu Lele has a much weaker physical defense, so Tapu Lele not having a chance to survive that at all. Kartana now goes for the Sacred Sword. That should be enough to pick up the KO, and Ragav Malavia actually takes this game in dominating fashion, 4-0 versus Preston Clark. That is only game one. Preston Clark has some time to make some adjustments here. Yeah,
and I think one quick adjustment is just where you put that Hydro Vortex. Doing 40% to Tapu Fini, I think, is just not worth the Z move, and the kind of rare opportunity to attack with Golduck. You can see how Golduck never managed to have another free opportunity to attack. Get snarled that turn, and then was reduced in offense, and then Tailwind started being a problem, and faster Pokemon, and things it couldn't really damage. And so if that first Hydro Vortex had been on Mandibuzz instead, I think it could have been a much easier game for Preston.
Yeah, you remove that threat of Tailwind to match your Tailwind.
And the Snarl ended up being a big problem. It got the KO on Pelipper and was reducing special attack across the board for Preston, who brought 3 special attackers in Kartana.
Yeah, it's oh boy. Here we go. Ragav trying to make it to the finals here. Preston trying to also make it to the finals. No accomplishments in the past, but here he is in the top 4. Yeah, Double Ducks proving to be still a solid archetype here. Going to be exerting a lot of pressure. And it all comes down to picking off that Mandibuzz like a vulture.
Yeah, picking off the Mandibuzz. I don't know if Preston has Brine, but I would expect Hydro Vortex plus Brine, even with a special defense boost, would be a KO.
Yeah?
If he doesn't have it, Scald's maybe less likely to get that KO, but could still go for it.
All right, everybody, here we are, Game 2. If Raghav Malavia wins this game, he will move on to the finals. Preston needs to win 2 more. Double duck again for Preston, and Kartana and Tapu Fini for Raghav here. Kind of an adjustment.
Yeah, kind of an adjustment. No Manda Buzz, even though it was effective in the first game. Kartana's, even though it's resisted, is much more vulnerable to Hydro Vortex than either Manda Buzz or Tapu Fini, and should be able to Golduck should be able to outspeed and just KO it. Has to watch out for what Tapu Fini's doing. A Kartana Protect or Switch would not be good for the Hydro Vortex. But
yep, Kartana forces Detect here, does not want to just instantly get KO'd by a Hydro Vortex, and here we go. Golduck now going to go for another Hydro Vortex. Is it going to target down the Kartana or the Tapu Fini? Both. I mean, I still don't agree with that first Hydro Vortex in that Tapu Fini slot. That's kind of a waste of a Z move in my opinion. Use that to do massive damage to something else. And it does target down the Kartana. Kartana has paper thin defenses, and we know that it's carrying the Grazium Z, but it still takes that like nothing, thanks to the Protect and thanks to resisting that attack. As Pelipper uses his turn to set up a Tailwind, I don't really think he needed that. Well, I guess now Pelipper can outspeed the Kartana and go for a possible Hurricane in that slot. Tapu Fini now going to go for Moonblast. Exact same thing, just weaken this Golduck. And gets another special attack drop, which is going to be pretty important.
Yeah, so either Pelipper can outspeed and Hurricane Kartana, or Golduck can. Gives you an extra option, which maybe it makes you less predictable. The Hurricane damage on Tapu Fini would be nice, but isn't so significant that Tailwind is a big opportunity cost. I would expect to see Golduck leave the field, maybe come back in and try to help with an Arcanine later in the game. Something it's better equipped to deal with than Kartana and Tapu Fini.
Yep, and Kartana has to switch out, does not want to risk staying in and possibly getting encored by Golduck as well. Manda Buzz hits the field, going to go ahead and activate the Misty Seed. Going to boost his special defense by 1 stage, and Golduck actually stays in and goes for a Hydro Pump in the rain on that Manda Buzz with 1 stage of decreased special attack, not doing much damage at all. Pelipper goes for a Hurricane, going to connect onto that Manda Buzz as well, doubling up in that slot, doing a lot of damage thanks to that critical hit, as Tapu Fini gets to go for Moonblast, and that should do it for... No! Targets down the Pelipper and breaks that Focus Sash instead.
Yeah, so breaks that Focus Sash, double target into what was the Kartana slot, probably expecting a switch. I mean, hoping that you end up just Hydro Pumping the Kartana and getting the KO, but expecting a switch and wanting to do as much damage to it as possible, knowing that neither of these Pokemon can really significantly damage Tapu Fini, and you're going to need to save that to be Kartana's problem later in the game. And so instead, just trying to get damage wherever you can do it, and not switch out while you do have Swift Swim and Rain and Tailwind all to your advantage, all on timers.
Yeah, Manda Buzz does come in, but it's now threatened to get KO'd thanks to that critical hit. Manda Buzz probably coming in trying to match that Tailwind, but Golduck goes for an Ice Beam instead. This should be the KO on... I don't know, Manda Buzz hangs on, yeah. Special defense boost. Pelipper goes for a Hurricane thanks to the accuracy. Yep, doubling up in that Manda Buzz, making sure that the KO happens. Yep, there you go. Manda Buzz, no chance to match the Tailwind, but Tailwind's going to expire soon anyways.
Yeah, that's a valuable KO to get, but it came at a pretty heavy cost. You've lost Golduck. You've taken a lot of damage with Pelipper and burnt most of your turns of Tailwind that you set up at the beginning of the game.
Yep, and now Kartana can come back in. I think there's only 1 more turn of Tailwind.
Yes, so it should be able to come in, protect through the last turn of Tailwind, and then be a giant threat to either of these Pokemon, threatening the one-hit KO on Pelipper, maybe not the one-hit KO on Tapu Lele, since we know it doesn't have Smart Strike.
Yep, Tapu Lele comes in here, going to activate the Psychic Terrain, and 1 more turn of Tailwind. Pelipper, heavily threatened to get KO'd, will not be able to set up another Trick Room, most likely.
Another Tailwind, yeah.
Oh, yeah, not another Trick Room.
If I was Raghav, I'd be wanting damage on that Tapu Lele to try to keep it from attacking, and so I'd expect Tapu Fini to try to get that damage this turn.
Instead, immediately going to switch out the Pokemon there and going to go into Kartana, as the Kartana on Raghav's side, stalling out this Tailwind here, going to protect itself, as Tapu Fini also going to stall out this Tailwind as well. No need to risk possibly taking a Hurricane and getting confused, because that would be unfortunate. Pelipper goes for the Hurricane into that Kartana Detect as the Tailwind peters out.
Yeah, and so now Kartana is back in for the first time, rather, for Preston, and is a threat to this Tapu Fini, the first time Tapu Fini's been threatened. Pelipper would be able to 1-hit KO Kartana, but will likely get outsped and KO'd by the Kartana instead.
And Kartana on Raghav's side actually switching out, going to try to go for Intimidate here with the Arcanine onto that Kartana, but of course Leaf Blade actually has a high critical hit chance, so maybe it will bypass that and KO. Oh, no, instead goes for a Sacred Sword onto that Kartana slot, hitting that Arcanine instead. Life Orb recoil, but that's still a pretty good amount of damage as Teleport actually gets to set up another Tailwind.
Yeah, so I think what happened there, Tapu Fini couldn't protect because it had protected on the previous turn. And so I think Preston was expecting it to switch. Nobody wants to take a Leaf Blade with their Tapu Fini, especially when it's so effective in this matchup. And if it was the thing switching into Arcanine, the Sacred Sword into Kartana was probably the right move, especially if it could get the KO on Kartana and buy you the Tailwind. You still got the Tailwind, but because the Kartana switched to the Arcanine, only got fairly irrelevant damage with Sacred Sword to Arcanine, not too bad, and lost your Pelipper to the Tapu Fini attack.
Yep, Tapu Fini switches out, going to go into Kartana here. Going to try to take that Leaf Blade a lot better than that Tapu Fini would. Arcanine protecting itself, not wanting to get KO'd by a Tapu Lele Psychic right here. Kartana goes for the Leaf Blade, though. Going to hit into that Kartana, doing a little bit of damage here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Rogov has got himself good field position here.
No, definitely not.
Sacred Sword will be a KO on Kartana. Psychic is a KO on Arcanine. Tapu Fini can come in and weaken that Psychic and take the Sacred Sword, so I would expect that to happen. But I'm still not sure that's enough for Arcanine to survive the Psychic. And if Preston makes that prediction and double targets Arcanine, there's definitely no way it survives. And if he makes the prediction and Leaf Blades, Tapu Fini could be even more trouble for Rogov. So he's limited his options because he is threatened by 2 KOs here and is vulnerable to losing Tapu Fini, which is the most important Pokemon.
At the same time, the Kartana on Preston's side is intimidated. Maybe Rogov knows that his Kartana will be able to survive just one more Sacred Sword, possibly.
Yeah, it could definitely survive another Sacred Sword if it's trained to do so. And if it's able to survive a Sacred Sword, it couldn't get an attack off, but we've seen it doesn't have Smart Strike, and so it probably can't get a KO of its own because Smart Strike won't KO the other Kartana.
Yep, Kartana has to switch out, going to go back into Fini here, and probably going to try to take this Sacred Sword a little bit better, trying to stall out this Tailwind as well as Rogov can. Also, changing the terrain, going to decrease the amount of damage that the Psychic terrain is going to do, but hey, you know what? Kartana's just going to go ahead and pick up the KO with a critical hit on that Tapu Fini. Thanks, Leaf Blade, for having increased critical hit ratio. Going to bring Kartana's attack stat back to neutral after that Intimidate drop and after that Beast Boost. Now Tapu Lele goes for a Psychic here, connecting onto that Arcanine here. Without that Psychic terrain, it's still enough to pick up the KO.
Yeah, and that Leaf Blade was the prediction that was fairly easy to make because the Tapu Fini was being forced in, but was so dangerous for Rogov because since the Leaf Blade crit, he lost the Tapu Fini that was all important. The Psychic still managed to get the KO despite changing the terrain, and so now he's down to just his Kartana with really no chance to win this game.
Yeah. Good adjustments from Preston.
Yeah.
And that was the key turn right there was definitely when that Pelipper was able to set up yet another Tailwind.
Yeah, that's where I think it really kind of went wrong
downhill
for Rogov. He seemed to be in control of the game early. The initial trading, despite losing Mandibuzz, he was doing pretty good damage with his Tapu Fini, but allowing the second Tailwind that allowed all the extra pressure, and then losing his Tapu Fini on that switch in is what lost him the game.
Yeah. All right. Game 3. Len, are you ready for another Game 3?
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah? All right. Rogov Melavia versus Preston Clark.
Where do you think the Hydro Vortex will land this time? It's been on a Kartana. It's been on a Tapu Fini.
You know what? I'll throw it on Rogov deciding to bring Hariyama this time for some reason, and then having that Hydro Vortex thrown onto it. How about that?
All right, fake out the Pelipper, take a Hydro Vortex.
Yeah.
All right, that's the call from Dwee.
I'm just kidding. You know, Rogov. So I think what a lot of players are doing, they're just ignoring that Pelipper, and they're just allowing that Pelipper to be able to set up multiple Tailwinds.
Yeah, it was surprising that they got multiple Tailwinds.
To be fair, though,
not a
that
very
Hurricane.
frequent thing.
That Hurricane critical hit mattered a lot. That definitely put Mandibuzz off the.
Yeah, because it also ignored the boost from its seed that activated coming into Misty Terrain.
All right, Game 3. Here we go. I'm expecting Double Duck again.
I am also.
Tapu Fini Mandibuzz here. Gonna start off with some synergy with the... Yep, there it is. Double Duck. All right, I'm wrong. The Hydro Vortex is not going to land in some random Hariyama. Probably just going to hit this Mandibuzz right now.
Yeah, I would expect to hit the Mandibuzz. The Mandibuzz is a good target for the Hydro Vortex because you're getting a neutral hit for the first time, and Mandibuzz almost never carries Protect, so you should get the full power, unlike the last game where you ended up only going through Protect and getting that 40%. That first turn Hydro Vortex is such an important part of the double duck, and it's been kind of squandered in games 1 and 2. Preston won despite that in game 2, but if he can get a much more potent Hydro Vortex, I think it could really help him in this game, especially if he can deny Tailwind like he did in the previous game by getting the quick KO on Mandibuzz this turn.
Yep, we're definitely going to... I think the Hydro Vortex this time is going to land on the Mandibuzz. I think Preston realizes, hey, my Tapu Fini, this Tapu Fini isn't really big of a threat. I have Kartana in the back. Pelipper goes for a wide guard here.
All right, stopping Snarl.
Preventing a Snarl just in case it survives. So here it is, the Hydro Vortex. I'm pretty sure it's going to land in the Mandibuzz this time.
Yeah, I think it'll land in the Mandibuzz, but Mandibuzz will survive. We'll see if it snarls into that wide guard or if it sets up its own Tailwind. But even if it sets up a Tailwind, like we've talked about before, not going to be the most important Tailwind, as Golduck will still be faster than both of these Pokemon. Pelipper will fall below them, but it could easily counter that with its own Tailwind. Oh, wow.
Critical hit.
So critical hit, ignoring the seed boost. The second critical hit to do in Mandibuzz and prevent Tailwind in 2 consecutive games.
Tapu Fini gets to go for a Moonblast here onto that Golduck. No special attack drop, so not everything is going Rogov's way here in this game. Again, a wasted turn by that Pelipper to just go for a white card.
Yeah,
but it's safe. It's safe.
Wasted turn that probably wouldn't have been wasted without the critical hit. Without the critical hit, I would expect Snarl to be coming out because it is so useful to limit what these 2 Pokemon can do, and blocking the Snarl would have been really useful because it also would have protected the Pelipper Focus Sash. Instead, he gets the critical hit. Even better, he's happy to waste a wide guard if it means the Mandibuzz is KO'd.
Yeah. So usually a lot of players leave the Mandibuzz alone, but this time Preston deciding to target down, and it pays off. Kartana going to detect here, not wanting to get KO'd from that Golduck, as Golduck goes for an Ice Beam into that Kartana detect. Tapu Fini probably going to try to pick up the KO here, but Pelipper actually uses his turn to set up Tailwind here. Tailwind was going to come up regardless because of the way that Pelipper is trained and how fast it is.
Yeah, it was going to come up regardless.
No,
because
goes for a Moonblast into that Pelipper. Golduck still is a threat now.
I almost think that is better for Rogov.
Break that sash?
Break the sash, make sure there's not 2 Tailwinds, but also keep Golduck on the field. It's not as big of a threat as some of the things Preston could bring out of the back now that he does have Tailwind. It's only more potent because of the Swift Swim, but if he has the Tailwind boost either way, things like the Specs Tapu Lele are much more threatening, especially with the Psychic immunity gone.
Arcanine actually going to switch in here, going to try to take the Ice Beam a lot better than the Kartana would. But of course, there's always the threat of eating a Hydro Pump as well. Oh, Golduck goes for a Hydro Pump here. Oh boy. Yep, straight into that slot. Going to pick up the one-hit KO on that Arcanine. Rogov there trying to play a bit more defensively, but Preston just, you know, hey, why not? It's still going to chunk you, and my Hurricane maybe doubles up into that Kartana, picks up the KO. Tapu Fini gets to go for Moonblast here. Going to hit on that Golduck and pick up the KO, so...
Yeah, and that Hydro Pump doesn't even have to be a prediction. It is the strongest move against Kartana.
Yep.
More likely to get the KO on Kartana than Ice Beam is. And so it could easily just been going for the KO on Kartana, willing to risk the 80% accuracy, and instead gets the much better KO on Arcanine. Very unfortunate there for Rogov. Now down to only 2 Pokemon, and with still a couple turns of Tailwind left here. Going to have to deal with this Kartana that's such a big threat to the damaged Tapu Fini. No Intimidate left from Arcanine, no Flare Blitz threat from Arcanine towards this Kartana. Going to need to Sacred Sword it down before it can get a Leaf Blade off. It's a big ask, especially with Pelipper faster than Kartana and threatening Hurricane.
This might be it right here. Kartana goes for a Leaf Blade into that Tapu Fini protect. Hurricane from this Pelipper going to connect onto the Kartana here. Massive damage, you know, one-hit KO. This Pelipper is on Rampage. This is a crazy Pelican right now. Yeah, and it's over. That
Tailwind was just such perfect timing, making use of the Swift Swim for the first couple turns so that you don't spin them in kind of double speed control. Timing the Tailwind so that it was guaranteed to go up and came up right as you end up bringing in your Kartana, making sure that you have the faster Kartana and that your Pelipper, and more importantly, is faster than the Kartana, so you get that one-hit KO with Hurricane before it can Leaf Blade.
And there you go. Leaf Blade connects on that Tapu Fini, and that does it here in not in Salt Lake City, but in this match between Rogov Malavia and Preston Clark. Preston Clark moves on to the finals, where he now, regardless of what happens, will take home $500.